See, we're already talking about it. Can't stop talking. It's Money Saving Monday, and we are talking about some big changes that could impact your wallet and your family's budget, right? So this morning we've got Stephen Connors in with Connors Wealth Management, just already talking about, some big changes that could be coming and how it is really going to impact people. So the reason we're bringing this up is that as we start to close in this old year, so old now, 12 months old, right? We have to really set ourselves up for next year, the best for success. Right? So first, let's talk about something that's been in the headlines with us, health insurance premiums.
Yes.
Those are going to go up for a lot of people. I know my parents just got a mail in recently, a letter in the mail saying that their premiums are going to be going up as well. That's going to happen for so many.
Yes, unfortunately. So health insurers are raising their premiums approximately 18%. And then the enhanced tax credits will be phasing out now. So that will mean that for 24 million Americans, it can be a spike of up to 75%. Then you add in inflation and other things like that. There's also the weight loss drugs. Those costs have to be incurred by the health insurance companies.
Oh, interesting.
So for those of us that are paying our premiums, it's going to get more expensive and probably less in services in terms of healthcare services as well. So you get less for more, unfortunately, when it comes to health insurance premiums. And the employer-sponsored plans for health insurance, those premiums will increase for the employees. So don't be surprised to see that this year.
For sure. So make sure you're checking, those benefit changes for the next year.
Yes.
I'm hearing it from my parents too, because they're dropping, a lot of doctors dropping out from their network, and the prices are going up, and so many Americans are going to be dealing with that as well.
Sure.
Sticking with health and healthcare costs, medical debt, that had been removed from credit reports. It could be going back on. I mean, how's that going to impact us?
Well, the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau attempted to have it so that would be continued, okay? But unfortunately, as far as that goes, if you have medical debt, and it used to be if it was under $500, and that probably may not show up on a credit report. However, if you have medical debt, it looks as though the Trump administration is going to allow that to be added back onto your credit report. So what does that mean? It means lower credit scores, which can make it more difficult to borrow and things like that. So that's the thing to keep in mind, is if you have medical debt and you thought that it was going to be not added, unfortunately, that will show up again, most likely.
Yeah, for 2026, right. I mean, if you had any house projects planned or any other reason you needed to take out a loan and you have that medical debt, just keep that in mind. Inflation, I mean, this is something we've talked about for the last year, 2 years. Shrinkflation as well, just everything, costing more, you're getting less. Seems like healthcare is on that trend too. But as far as inflation goes, is there any relief in sight? Do you see that going away next year?
Well, the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates high for longer, and inflation has come down. Last read last week was about 2.7%, but we're still closer to 3% than we are where the Fed target is, which is at 2%. However, so the problem is that if you look back to prior to the pandemic, which really wasn't all that long ago, beginning March of 2020, from there to now, it's about 23% more expensive for items that we purchased, and that's items and services both. So inflation is here. Even if it gradually gets back down to the 2%, we're not likely going to feel like inflation's coming down because it's that much higher than it was prior to the pandemic.
Sure. Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people ended up maybe shrinking their contributions to retirement plans so they had more money in the budget because of inflation. Things were just costing more. And so if you do want to get back on track with your retirement accounts, there are some changes that we should know about.
Yes. In 2025, if you earned over $124,000, there'll be no more catch-up contributions for those that are 50 and older. So that's something to keep in mind. You can still put extra funds into retirement, but that would have to be on an after-tax basis. It's called Roth IRAs. And so it's after-tax dollars that go in, and it grows tax-free. So when you eventually pull those funds out, it's tax-free.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of looking over their budget for this year, trying to plan for next year, saying, I want to be in a better financial spot at the end of 2026 than this year? What is your top tip for them?
My top tip is have a financial plan. Budget everything. Look at your expenses. Look at those expenditures line item by line item. Look at your cash flow and make sure that you are not only covering your expenses, but pay yourself also. So you are a creditor. Make sure that you're planning for your future and for retirement, because years as New Year's approaches, these years go fast.
Yeah.
And so you want to be putting money away every single month and year, because when you do retire, it's a lot more enjoyable if you don't have to have that worry of finances.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to do and think about that for yourself when you're paying all these other people, when you've got your medical debt and your credit card debt and other debt. But that's why a budget is so important.
It is.
Stephen Connors, thank you so much for being
You're
here.
very welcome.
We really
Pleasure.
appreciate it. Emma, I feel like some really good takeaways today.
Oh my gosh, I got to get my pen and paper out. I can't forget all of that. All right, thank you.